Hello, colleagues. My name is Claudia Abar, and I am a kindergarten teacher in District 4. I'm also one of your virtual content specialists for kindergarten math. We wanted to share a lesson today, Unit 5, Day 13. We wanted to show from the implementation guidance. One of the suggestions that we've made is that you use a virtual number line from the Math Learning Center. I wanted to give you a few minutes of practice on that so that you can feel a little bit more familiar before using it with your children. And I'm going to show you first the introduction slide so you know what it looks like. And then I also wanted to show you what it will look like within the lesson. This is when we will be using it. We will show a demonstration to launch the lesson. And then your students will be doing some exploration work independently that looks like this. So to access the number line, you will use this QR code, or you can go ahead and use this web address here. So now let's get into it. Let's see what it looks like. When you first open the app, it will bring you here. And now right off the bat, it looks really busy, right? It's not. Just go ahead and be done with this for a minute. Let's just look at it. It's just a virtual number line, just like the ones that we have in the classroom. Unfortunately, with being remote, we don't have access for the children having this. Normally, we would have it on their desk, hanging up in the classroom. So how do we use this? What's the best way to use this? I'm not going to go over all of the features because a lot of them are not going to be applicable to kindergarten, but I do want to show you a few things. The very first thing is that to manipulate the number line, to move it from one side to the other, you will go all the way up here to this blue line and you will drag it across. See, as soon as I touch the number 50, it appears on the screen. And this line goes all the way up to 100. So you do not need that many numbers right now. While it will be great for our students to get there at the end of the year, right now we don't quite need that. So let's go ahead and minimize this. There's a couple of different ways that we can space them. We can space them like this, which will show us all the way up to 100. We can go here in the middle option, which will give us all the way up to 50, which is still very good because our children should be working towards that goal personally. But for the purposes of introducing the app, I will go here, which will only show all the way up to 28. The reason why I want to go here is because it shows the numbers in a little bit bigger format. And in showing them here, it makes it a little bit easier for the children to understand. Now, let me refer back to the lesson really quickly so I can show you one thing that is really cool about this app. In the Explore slides, you will see that there are some missing numbers and your students are meant to type them in. When using this app, you can do this for your students. There's an option right here. It looks like 2 plus signs and blank boxes. Go ahead and click that and all of the numbers disappear. Now, if you want your students to get additional practice with filling in, you can go ahead and tap some of the numbers. I will tap every other number. And then you can send this to your students via the share option, which is down here. You will copy the code and then your students will receive it and they can manually write in the numbers. Once your students are done with this, and this is additional practice to the slides. Once your students are done with this, a new code will generate because they've done some work on it. And they can send this code on to you. If you are familiar with the Math Learning Center app, you already know all the things that it can do. So now let's go back to the very beginning. Once you have this number line, you can show the children that it goes all the way up to 28. Once your children become even more familiar with it, you can go ahead and do different things. You can, again, minimize the spacing. You can begin at a different number. Maybe you want to begin at the number 5. And as you can see here, that's what happened. But again, for the purposes of this lesson, it's just a quick introduction of what are some of the things that you can do. Now, once again, I will show you the slide to access all this. But before I do that, let me show you another app from the Math Learning Center that comes into play here too. The Number Rack app also has the little beads that your children can manipulate and count independently. They might need something like this when they are being asked to fill in some of the exploration slides. They might need additional resources. Remind them of all the things that are easily and readily available to them so that they can facilitate their own learning and their own independence. I know that there's a lot of apps that are being thrown at you. I know that you have access to a million things and you probably have found ways to make this process a little bit easier for your students. We wanted to go ahead and give you additional suggestions on one app that we found to be useful and hope that you do too. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.